thing is, I never see the money. I never see it. Where is it? Where did it go? It disappeared. It's in my account and poof, out. Gone. 2 seconds. Out of there. Gone. Like, just gone.
And I will tell you myself that the issue is not that society cannot feed people. We have more than enough food. It's that feeding people is not as profitable as selling food.
While these people keep making record profits and trying to tell us that they did it by bootstrapping, when we all know better.
I see more and more and more people on the side of the street every single day. Hungry, dirty, beaten, broken. And I don't understand. Where do we go from here?
It's just like, it doesn't look like it's collapsing because everyone's at the store still. But it doesn't matter that everyone's at the store and everyone's at theme parks or everyone's at these places because they're still just using borrowed money.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So I'm noticing that more and more people are asking these questions now, asking when are we going to reach our breaking point? Because honestly, like when you look around you, you notice that a lot of people are adapting to how cost of living is, how everything is expensive. Different things are just changing. And so many issues and people are adapting to it. People have been adjusting for a while. Like they tell you that there are no jobs out there, adjust or deal with that. You know, there are no jobs, deal with the fact that things are unaffordable and a lot of people are having to cut back on so many things because they can't afford things. Even though they work, they tell you, oh, you're not earning enough. Maybe that's why all this, the rising costs you're dealing with, maybe with your rent being high and so many things just increasing on you. And you are told to like basically just deal with it. And then you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm not earning enough. Maybe I just need to go and get other jobs, you know, try to work more. You're working and even doing more, putting in more hours and thinking that that's going to make a difference. And people like it get to the point where you start wondering because this is becoming too much and surviving in such situations is starting to look very unrealistic. But before we get right into this video and check it out, I want to give a very big shout out to Leroy. Thank you so much for sending me a $2 super thanks. I really appreciate you. Please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
Has anybody else started thinking about what is the breaking point going to be? Because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, especially as I read comments that are saying, we're not angry enough. Why isn't anybody doing anything? I don't disagree with those comments necessarily, but it does make me wonder, what is the final straw going to be? People can't afford to do much of anything anymore. Going out to eat kind of sucks. The food is expensive and it's not that good. Going to work kind of sucks because even if you're making more money than you ever have, which my husband and I gratefully are, you still can't really afford to live any better than you did 5 years ago. They are making us pay extra for things that used to come all inclusive. Like I saw a video the other day about, I think Toyota is trying out a subscription model for your radio and your GPS. Who's going to pay for that? What are they going to do when we all go, you know what, you can keep it? I don't care. I don't care. I'll ride a bike. I'll figure it out. I'm not doing this anymore. What are they going to do when everybody is too broke to contribute to the economy and they are losing their cars, their houses, things like that? And in my mind, the ruling class has decided they'll just get so desperate that they'll do anything. They'll take what we give them. And maybe it's the redneck in me or I'm just overly optimistic, but I don't feel like that's what's actually going to happen. I kind of feel like a cornered dog is the most dangerous animal you could ever encounter. What's to stop somebody from just setting it off? You know what I mean? Like somebody has to throw the first brick, and I can't help but feel like if you're knocking on my door telling me you're taking my car, you are taking my house. And not only that, but I can no longer enjoy anything. You've ruined sports with sports betting. You're probably going to make me subscribe for that as well. Streaming services keep going. Like, I can't even have these simple pleasures anymore. And now you want to take my dwelling and my means of transportation? I don't know. I don't know. I have enough hope in humanity, for better or worse, that's just not going to fly. While these people keep making record profits and trying to tell us that they did it by bootstrapping, when we all know better. They have not thought this all the way through. And it is my greatest hope that we somehow set this right. And I'm not advocating for violence, okay? I want that to be made clear. I am not advocating for violence against anyone. But when people are desperate And they're desperate because you made them that way on purpose. You manufactured it, and they can barely even breathe the air because you needed AI so badly. I wouldn't do it. I would rethink my strategy, me personally, if I were a billionaire.
There is nothing else to cut. There's nothing left for me to cut. I have cut so much out of my life just to make it. When I say everything is high, gas prices high, I'm filling up my tank every 3 to 4 business days. 3 to 4 business days. Everything is high. Food high. Light bills high. Gas bill high. Gas prices high. Rent is high. The sky is high. I am tired. I made the most money I've ever made in my life. It may not be much to a lot of people, but to me, it's a lot. I could potentially make up, not to put my financial business out there, potentially take home $2,400, depending on how I work. My thing is, I never see the money. I never see it. Where is it? Where did it go? It disappeared. It's in my account and poof, out. Gone. 2 seconds. Out of there. Gone. Like, just gone. I'm not understanding what is going on with this economy. I don't know what's happening, but I am tired of making the cuts. I bring my own lunch to work. I skip meals. I'm going to be a 2T by summer. I'm going to be a 2T by summer. I promise you. I don't know what the
I see more and more and more people on the side of the street every single day. Hungry, dirty, beaten, broken. And I don't understand. Where do we go from here? What happens next? What the fuck do we do when everybody's broken? What happens then? What happens when nobody can find work? When everybody's been priced out of a home? What happens when nobody can afford to put food in their fridge anymore? What happens then? What happens then? What happens then? I just left work and I was driving home and there was a man sitting there and I almost drove past him. I almost kept going to my house, to my bed, to eat the food that I had gotten for myself. And I thought, well, damn, if I'm hungry, he must be hungry too. I'm tired, he's tired too. So the least I could do is feed him, because I had more than enough. So the least I could do is feed someone who doesn't. Feed someone who had to go without. So how the fuck do all these big ass corporations, all these rich ass people, these billionaires, not see the fucking need? How are y'all blind to it? How do y'all not see the need? I see it every time I leave my fucking house. Every time I leave my house, I see more broken down and beaten fucking people. Where do we go from there? What happens next? What happens next when nobody wants to keep going anymore? What happens when nobody has it in them to fight anymore because we're not going to get anything out of it? The fruits of our labor, we're not going to see nothing from it. Fuck my generation and anybody younger than me. There is no hope to be had. There is no hope to be had. What the fuck are they supposed to hope for? Hope they're gonna have a job that they're working 60 hours a week at, where they don't get a please, thank you, how you doing? They don't get no appreciation, no kind of notice, nothing, and they damn sure don't get paid enough to be able to keep their lights on, to keep food in their fucking refrigerator, to keep a roof over their head. So many people are sleeping on the streets or in their cars or hopping from place to place. And they got a job. They get up and they take their happy ass to work every single fucking day. And they still don't got a place to lay their head at night. what happens next? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
All right, y'all gotta understand that a lot of the content you see today about the economy is accurate. And I think the reason that people are having so much trouble accepting what's actually happening is because of the overload. Now, obviously, like the government, they're just lying to you, right? Government and media, they're all lying. But I think when it comes to the content, I think people are just seeing so much stuff that they don't even know what's real or not. Like, you'll see Mr. Global talk about the oil crisis, and then you'll scroll to the next post, and you're going to see me talk about the AI bubble. And then you'll scroll to another post, and you're going to see, like, preppers talking about the food shortages. You're going to see all this, and you're going to go, like, there's no way this is this bad. It can't be all of it. Yeah, but the thing is, it is all of it. It is that bad. We're just each talking about our specialty. The energy crisis is as bad as Mr. Global says. If anything, it's worse, because he likes to kind of undersell it. And I think it's mostly because he's like an optimist and he thinks that deal can actually be struck, which I don't think any deal can be struck because of the small country. And then when I talk about the AI bubble and the consumer credit bubble, that's as bad as I'd make it out to be also. And again, it's probably worse because I don't want to make people cry and then subsequently be called a fearmonger in the comments, even though that happens anyway. Now, the food shortages are almost as bad as the preppers make it out to be. They just tend to take it a little far because that's just what they do. But this time, they're definitely not wrong. Like, there's going to be shortages. It might not be absolute doomsday like some of them like to make it out to be, but, it's going to get rough. Like I said this in my last video, but this is like a culmination of the oil embargo, the dot-com bubble, the Great Recession, and there's even a housing crisis in there too. So you got to understand, it is as bad as people make it out to be, all right? Then another thing that's important to understand is that this is not the same as 2022. A lot of people like to say, oh, nothing ever happens. People have been calling this and that since 2022. You have to understand this is a different situation now. Back then in 2022, when people were talking about AI bubble or they're talking about the consumer economy, you understand, they weren't calling a crash. They were just saying, hey, that's a problem. Like the AI thing, like that's a circular financing scheme and that's a problem. And then they're looking at the consumer and they're looking at like inflation and they're looking at the credit bubble and they're like, okay, this is a problem here. Now the tone is different because of the war and because of the Strait closure. This is an imminent problem now. This is not like back then where it was like, hey, this is a problem and like it'll eventually get pretty bad. No, like we're past the breaking point. Oil is still stuck. The helium and LNG that's needed for the AI data centers, those factories are still blown up. And the fertilizer still didn't get planted, right? And the prices are still high. So the next one is going to be even higher than the last one. And obviously, the strait that all of this needs to transit through, it's still closed. I don't know. It's still closed. Dude, this was supposed to be open in 3 weeks. It's been like months, many months. And somehow people are looking at prices, inflation, all the stuff. They're looking at everything just skyrocket. And they're going, oh, it can't get any worse than this, right? Dude, I mean, it's literally just getting started because everything's still closed. I mean, the Mandeb is about to close next. So like, it is as bad as people make it out to be, if not worse. This is why I, as a stock market person, have been saying you should garden, you should learn to fish, you should learn to be kind of self-sustainable or go knock on some doors and get together with your community. You know what I mean?
I just have to say, you guys, I know that the economy is really bad right now, but I'm feeling so gaslit and honestly pissed off by all these videos that keep being like, guys, we are almost at the point. We are almost at the breaking point. When I got laid off November 2024 with 10 years of experience and a master's degree, 10 years of experience in social media marketing with a good experience, I thought. And I've lost everything. I had to use all my 401k. If it wasn't for my parents, I would be on the street. I got kicked off unemployment. Like, I'm sorry to even just jump right in, go here, but I understand that people are falling through the cracks in their own time. And honestly, I'm privileged. Like I said, my parents aren't made of money, but I truly would be, I truly would have been in a life or death situation. If not for them, I'm still trying to come out of just long-term, survival mode. I finally got 3 jobs and was working 75 hours a week trying to make up for lost time of when I had no income, trying to build my way up. Anyway, it doesn't matter about me. It doesn't matter about me. The thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is I feel so fucking gaslit by everyone saying, guys, we're almost at the breaking point. We've already hit the point. Like, we've hit the point. A salary should be enough for a fucking family of 4. The fact that a salary is not enough for one single person without a dog, without health issues, with even people without a car payment. Like, the fact that a salary is not enough for even one person. A salary should be enough for a fucking family of 4 and then some. Human beings deserve vacations. We deserve to be able to save for retirement. The bar has been so low, and like, from a mental health standpoint, like, humans can't be working like 75 hours like all the time. Like, I have been in survival mode for so long that it's almost laughable at this point. And this is not like a woe is me. Like, people have it way worse than me. People have it way worse than me. And I've applied to over 3,000 jobs since my layoff in November 2024. Trump getting in office, it was a pretty instant hit to the economy. It was actually quite instant. The way that all of a sudden, once Trump got elected, people were fearful of not wanting to hire, not wanting to overspend because of the fucking tariffs. Like, that hit me very instantly, to where I had recruiters tell me to expect a 25% pay cut if I'm lucky. Guess what? I talked to recruiters for help on how I can dumb down my resume so that I could potentially get a 25% pay cut. That didn't work because everyone I talked to said that they would feel bad about me getting a pay cut because they were sure there was something else out there for me. Well, bitch, there wasn't anything out there for me, so now I'm a tarot reader online because I need money or else I will die. I don't understand how we're so far removed from the fact that people need money or else they will die. And I don't know how much longer we're going to be like, guys, the economy's getting really strained. Like, things are really, really bad. Yeah, I'm working 75-hour weeks and I'm a tarot reader online.
We have finally hit the breaking point, part 2, because everyone is asking, what do we do? It's just like, it doesn't look like it's collapsing because everyone's at the store still. But it doesn't matter that everyone's at the store and everyone's at theme parks or everyone's at these places because they are still just using borrowed money. Like, people are still chasing things inside of the Matrix, which is this like imaginary idea that showing up inside of the world right now is somehow going to change any of the impending doom that we're looking at. Once again, I don't like to sit here and say it's the doom and gloom, but we as people have to find what our power now is, because we've always had it, but we actually have to have the conditions that make us do it. And so when gas prices are starting to get to minimum wage, meaning that, like, in some places, minimum wage is still $7.25, and the gallons of gas there are probably about $5 a gallon. That is not exactly a profitable margin long term for anybody to actually go to work. And if that just keeps going up, what are we supposed to do? That is still the big question. What do we do? Now, I'm going to provide my version of what a solution is. And providing this solution, because remember, this app does not want us to sit here and talk about what we can do. So I'm going to really, really need you to just click all the buttons, because there's only one way that we can actually break the algorithm with trying to get good information out and not still focus on the doom and gloom. And that's just going to be with mass interacting and trying to share it around. I don't know how impactful this is going to be. My solution that, like, yes, we need to look towards building communities. And Discord is a really good option for that. But we also need to start learning how to build independent systems, because it's very possible. And energy is a crisis that can be solved amongst a community, food, all of the things that we can think about. But we need to now learn how to organize, because that's the one thing that they don't want us to do. That's the thing they've always wanted us not to do. That's why they've done their best to keep us divided in the best way to their needs as possible. But our breaking point is coming where we have to now figure that out amongst each other, because there's not any other option. Like, no one's coming to save us. And yes, we can sit here and stop spending money on unnecessary things. You can cut back. You can do all these things. But if everything's ramping up so much, people already have cut back. I want to make that distinction very clear. Most people have already cut back at this point. And most people are already extending themselves. Like, that's why we're talking about being at the breaking point, because we are way beyond. And I think many people have talked about subsidizing certain solutions, but, 0 point energy systems and everything to do with that is all over different parts of the internet right now. Permaculture, creating food forest, and long-term systems, all of the things that we need are there. We have OpenClaw, we have AI, we have the ability to be able to use tools, to be able to technically beat the game at its own game and create our own game. Did you ever hear about the place over in like Spain or one of the European countries that basically started prioritizing human life inside of their own closed economic system, and it like flourished and really, really worked? We can do that. But let me know more of what you guys think we should be doing if you have any type of solutions. I'm going to do a part 3 update on this, just actually figuring out how we can organize, make it make sense, come together, and whether that's going to be in a mass Discord and we pull a, whatever that one country did last year, or, something like that. There has to be some way that we actually make it happen. I don't think that it's just going to be the end. AI robots take over. It's all bad, everything. Like, we are powerful. And this statement alone, I feel like, builds friction with me finding this video towards people in the algorithm. We are powerful together, and we just have to work together. And us figuring that out alone, thinking about it right now as a collective consciousness, is going to make it happen. So thank you for being here. Let's make history.
And I absolutely noticed that people can handle hardship for a while when you kind of have the hope and the belief that things will possibly change eventually. And this is like a temporary suffering, and people are just suffering temporarily and things will get better and improve, But when you start saying that, oh, it seems like this thing ain't gonna stop, because now a temporary situation that you were trying to endure is starting to not look too temporary, it's starting to look very, very permanent, or even increasing and becoming worse every single day.
I want to know, what deal did the boomers make with the devil to still be lasting this long, bro? Because they didn't overstate they welcome, bro. Like, it's getting too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is just beyond ridiculous, dog. All the fucked up shit going on in this country is being led by a white supremacist geriatric cult. We talking about a majority of these fascist fucks are like 75, 80 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll really be different if they was, younger, vibrant, able to impose their physical will. But we talking about a bunch of old motherfuckers, bro, who medicine cabinet probably busting out the seams, dog, and can't take more than 10 steps without having to stop and catch their breath. And yet it still feel like we losing. Like, what in the revenge of the old people is going on, bro? You know what I mean? And like, now it's to the point that we got 3 or 4 generations trying to push back against the boomers. And I blame Gen X, bro. I know y'all gonna get mad at me, but I blame y'all, bro. Y'all capitulated for too long, bro. Y'all had the best runway to really rebel against the boomers. And I know they're your parents, but y'all understand them better than anybody. Because the millennials didn't really have a shot. By the time they got out of high school, 2008 rolling around, smacked them upside the head. Then after that, they had a little bit of runway once Obama then came into office and this and that. And next thing you know, 2020 smacked them right back over the head. And now you got all this shit going on 6 years later. They didn't really have a shot. Y'all chopped them off at the knees every chance they had. Gen Z was kids during 2008, and you know what I'm saying? So they were a little oblivious to what's going on. But by the time they got out of college in 2014, 2015, you know what I'm saying? They maybe had like 4 to 5 years to really, get out there and catch their breath and see what the world is like before 2020 smacked them over the head until the white meat showed. Now, 6 years later, they got to deal with this shit. And Gen Alpha, they probably just coming out of high school or in their first year of college. I know they fucking hopeless. This shit is insane, bro. Like, it just make no fucking sense. Every fucked up aspect of our society is because of the boomers, and more specifically white boomers, bro. This shit is just beyond ridiculous. Like the most selfish generation known to man, dog. Just holding on out of pure spite.
Living through a system collapse in real time is actually wild. And it's wild because you can tell that the systems are collapsing. Like, we can clearly tell here that something is not correct. And in order for there to be, a correction made with the current system, it literally has to collapse. It fully has to collapse. The empire, the systems, all of it has to collapse and crumble and be done with and be no more, so something new can be rebuilt. But like living through it, it just feels like it's being prolonged. And I understand like the people in power are going to try and hold on to that power for as long as they possibly can. But it almost seems like they're just delaying the inevitable, which would be the collapse of the systems that are currently in place, because they're very corrupt and they quite literally can no longer exist in the way that they've been existing. If we can, or if we're trying to continue to be living, if we're trying to continue to be on this planet and have things progress, you know what I mean? Things absolutely have to change no matter what. But just living through this time, it's like, okay, I can tell the collapse is going on, but like, can we speed it up? I'm not trying to be like, but like we can all tell that this can no longer be this way. So it has to collapse and crumble and be done with. And I just really feel like it's being prolonged. Again, because people in power are going to try and hold on to that power for however long they can. But it's insane. And every day you wake up and it's some new thing in the news. And all I can think about is, okay, well, can we just get to the part where like all of this is over? Like, because we know that the collapse is imminent. So can we just speed this up, wrap things up? Like, we all see this. The system cannot continue in the same way it's been operating. Like, it literally cannot.
So my second ever big girl job was at a grocery store. And I will tell you myself that the issue is not that society cannot feed people. We have more than enough food. It's that feeding people is not as profitable as selling food. One of the darker things that I learned working at a grocery store is that the grocery store food waste, they have something called shrink. Shrink is basically inventory loss. It's stuff that gets damaged, expires, gets stolen, can't be sold. And when grocery stores throw that inventory away, they write off those losses on their taxes. And so a tax write-off reduces the amount of income that a company gets taxed on. So if a grocery store loses, say, thousands of dollars in unsold food inventory, they can report that loss and lower their taxable profit. These corporations are more concerned with protecting profit margins than feeding hungry people. A lot of us are conditioned to believe that food is a privilege and not a right, but it should be our right to survive. And remember, they're not only throwing away rotten food. I've seen it myself. Grocery stores throw away overstock too. Entire shipments that can't fit in the freezer or won't sell fast enough. They throw out stuff with damaged packaging where the food is completely fine inside. Produce that looks ugly, like deformed fruit or vegetables. Perfectly edible food. What's crazy is there's already systems proven to reduce this waste. Something called dynamic pricing is where they lower the price of food right before it expires. It statistically reduces food waste significantly, but less than 25% of grocery stores in the United States do that because the companies would rather protect their profit margins than normalize cheaper food access. Okay, do you see where I'm going? And very few grocery stores consistently donate excess food to food banks either. That overstock or like the stuff that gets thrown away, like they genuinely throw it away. Some stores intentionally lock dumpsters or destroy the food before throwing it away. Like, think about how insane that is. We have people digging through the trash while corporations are pouring bleach on the food so that nobody can take it for free when it's going in the trash anyway. Like, and the irony that these same corporations will ask you to donate money at the checkout screen for hunger relief while they're actively throwing away perfectly edible food that could have gone to shelters, food banks, struggling families. So imagine a grocery store has a bunch of extra food that they can't sell in time. So now they have multiple choices: lower the prices, donate it, or throw it away and make money back. They're going to throw it away and make the money back. And under capitalism, businesses are structurally incentivized to prioritize profit first. Grocery stores are businesses before they are charities. Their goal is to make money. So if giving away food threatens pricing structures, future sales expectations, or profit margins, many of these corporations would rather waste the food than normalize free access to it. That is a part of why some stores would literally rather destroy the food than give it away to you, which sounds like cartoonishly evil until you realize that this is exactly what happens when basic human necessities are treated as primarily products instead of human needs. France, great example, France. They literally passed an anti-food waste law. Large supermarkets are not allowed to intentionally destroy usable food. They are required to donate edible food to charities instead. So the problem is not production. We have more than enough food to feed everybody. The problem is distribution under a system that profit incentives matter more in than hunger. Manufactured scarcity is profitable. They are starving you on purpose. And don't even get me started on the fact that the grocery stores do not care that the food they are selling you is quite literally poison.
You know, things get to the point where you start wondering where the limit is, because a lot of advice from people or advice from everywhere that be telling you, when you complain or point out what's going on how things are not easy, you know, people be telling you to cut back, spend less, you know, cut back on vacations, cut back on eating out, you know, cut back on this and that, like a lot of things that you're being told not to do. The cutting back went from, you know, all some of our wants, like it was not necessities, you know, they were just wants or some of the things that make us happy. And now we're getting to the point where a lot of people have been at the point where now you're cutting back on your necessities, like those things that you actually need. And it's like, there has to be a limit. Like, oh, hey, you know, you need to cut back on subscriptions. You need to stop having any sort of entertainment in your house. Lower your expectations. You would never be able to own a home. When I tell you that, honestly, it's really sad, because now every month has started becoming like an exercise to see what a person can live without. Like, a lot of people are living this experience where they have to juggle and think within their brain, oh, what can I live without this month? What do I absolutely have to pay for? What is something that I can actually just endure being without that thing? Like, that's just the reality of it. It's becoming extremely too much because the wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. I mean, breaking points happens differently for people. Like, it doesn't always look like the same thing for everyone, or it doesn't have to necessarily be like a dramatic thing, but it's like points where we get very hopeless and stop looking forward or being motivated by anything. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. Please don't forget to click the like button. It helps the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. And subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. I'll leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to see what you think about this video, and I will see you on the next one.